Now we do have to go to a special guest. We've got Lara Trump, who is the wife of Eric Trump. And I'm here to talk with her about also a similar topic, women for Trump. We'll go to that interview right now. Eric Trump has quickly become one of my favorite Trumps, and it's very hard to pick if you'd like a trading card set of Trumps. Because I like Eric because of the way he kicked butt on CNN right after one of the debates. He was a 3-on-1 with 3 hosts trying to take him out, and they couldn't do it. Lara, you have a tenacious family there.
I do, and it's funny you say that. He's one of my favorite Trumps as well.
Hopefully at least top 5 for you.
Great. Yeah, he was so great after the vice presidential debate on CNN. I know I was cheering for him, which is, we sort of get desensitized to seeing each other on television so often, but he really did such a great job. And
yeah,
I think
that was particularly good.
Are so passionate. Yes.
What he did is he didn't accept the media's premises that were posed to him. The Clinton News Network views the world through a certain lens. I think it's increasingly clear that's not the lens that most of America views the world through. And he didn't lose sight of that when he answered his questions, which is a good strategy.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I think you're right. The main bulk of this country understands that there has been such media bias throughout the course of this campaign. For the past 18 months, we've seen, my father-in-law go through the most dishonest media reporting of anything I've ever seen. In fact, when he first announced he was running, most people thought it was a joke, and they never gave him a shot. And I'm so proud that he's been as strong as he has been, that he stuck to his guns, that the message that he's had since the beginning is still resonating with people. And I think it speaks to the fact that people in this country are sick and tired of what's been going on, and they're ready for change.
Yeah, I think they are. I think that's increasingly obvious with polling data looking more and more favorable for Donald Trump. You're on the Women for Trump tour right now. Talk to us about that and what stops are you making?
Yeah, well, we're in North Carolina, my home state, for the next couple of days. Then we're headed to Ohio. We were in Florida last week. We've been all over. And really for the past 2 months, it's a group of women and myself who know Donald Trump personally, who know the man that he is. And we kept hearing this narrative about him, especially as it relates to women. And we said, this is not the man that we know, and we want to get out there. We want to talk to people about the Donald Trump we know and answer any questions that people might have. And it's been incredible. It's been such an honor to be able to travel across our country and meet with voters and see really the country. And I feel really honored to be able to do that. But it's myself along with Omarosa, who is a contestant from The Apprentice, Katrina Pearson, who a lot of people see on the Clinton News Network, on Fox News, defending my father-in-law as one of our spokeswomen, Diamond and Silk, who are North Carolina natives and have made quite a name for themselves throughout this campaign, and Lynn Patton, who has worked for the Trump Organization for almost 8 years. So we all know my father-in-law in very different ways, but we know the man that he is. And I have to tell you, the response we've gotten from people has been so incredible and so overwhelming. It's just such a blessing to do it.
Well, they've tried to tar him as some sort of a misogynist and a racist, which is why what you're doing is so important, because that pushes back on that media narrative. And I want you to just speak to why you believe Donald Trump is actually a more progressive choice for women than Hillary Clinton.
Well, look, as a woman, I think all women would agree that we will see a woman be president of this country one day, and we'd love to see that because it is getting to be about time. We had our first African-American president in Barack Obama. We would love to see that, but Hillary Clinton would be such a poor choice as a president. We want a woman that we can be proud of, that all women can look up to, and if you look at how stained Hillary Clinton's past is, it's such a shame to think that she is actually the first nominee for president, and so she has made that bit of history. But I think it would do such a disservice to women to have her become the president of this country. My father-in-law has really laid out a progressive plan as it relates to child care. He did that with my sister-in-law Ivanka about a month ago. This is something that has been ignored actually far too long, in my opinion, on both sides of the aisle. And it really will allow women the chance to have child care, deducted from their taxes. It's going to help a lot of families out. It will allow women to go back into the workforce once they have children, if they choose to do so. If they want to be stay-at-home moms, they can also make that deduction. It's just a really important thing that I think it's about time got addressed. And Donald Trump wants to increase wages across the board, and that's men and women, both. When we have a strong economy, it works better for all of us. And, there is still a wage gap that exists in this country, and we need to close that. And I think putting Donald Trump in place as our president, once this economy is invigorated, once we're bringing jobs back into this country, I think we're going to see that wage gap decrease and hopefully go away completely, because it's so important that women and men are paid equally, are treated equally across this country. He has always done that in his business. He has more female executives than male executives, like the Trump Organization. Throughout the course of the Trump Organization, he's always paid exactly the same to men and women in his companies. So you can see, if you look at Donald Trump's past, how he feels about women. And I think if you look at Hillary Clinton and you see all of the dishonesty, all of the corruption, all of the problems that she's had, we can do so much better as women and as a possible nominee for president. One day I look forward to seeing a woman in the Oval Office, but just not this one.
Yeah, and people who listen to the broadcast know that I've repeated time and time again that Bill Clinton's been accused of sexual assault multiple dozens of times. He's settled with Paula Jones, of course. We know about Jennifer Flowers and Kathleen Willey and Monica Lewinsky, et cetera. And then the evidence against Donald Trump is circumstantial, and the accusations aren't half of what they are against Bill Clinton. But now we know that Hillary has other problems with perverts in her life, and that's Anthony Weiner. And the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton is back open because of 650,000 some odd emails discovered by the FBI on Anthony Weiner's computer. Breitbart fans go way back with Anthony Weiner because we broke the original scandal of him sexting. And they're investigating him, Lara, for sexting children. And this is where they potentially found emails that could be incriminating to the opponent of Donald Trump. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, listen, you can't make this stuff up. To say that this election cycle has been anything less than interesting is an understatement. Look, I think that it really is about time that somebody looked a little further into Hillary Clinton. She should have been indicted the first time, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people in this country. And she sort of got a get-out-of-jail-free card. And you know what? You can't escape the truth, and I think that's what we see coming out here. We see that although they've tried to hide things, although she's destroyed numerous devices, deleted, tens of thousands of emails, it's caught up with her. And, if Anthony Weiner is the smoking gun here, then I don't know how better you could even write a movie about this. But it's really sad to see the corruption that really is behind Hillary Clinton. And again, I think we all have known that it exists there. I mean, this is a woman who's been in politics for 30 some odd years, has nothing to show for it. The Clinton Foundation has been a pay-for-play scheme that they've used to get rich. When Bill and Hillary left the White House, they said themselves that they were dead broke, and now they are worth $250 million. You don't make that money overnight by accident. They've been utilizing their foundation, her post as Secretary of State, for far too long to make money for themselves, making backdoor deals, and it's really scary stuff. And I think, the timing is really, really crucial here, because the American people have to decide who they want to lead this country. And either we want change and we want a candidate who's going to be true to the American people, who's doing this for the right reasons, or we're going to have a corrupt candidate that's probably going to get indicted, who's going to be fighting, against the Department of Justice for God knows how long. She's not going to be able to get anything accomplished as our president. And it's very important, I think, that these things came out, because people are early voting. People are casting their ballots right now, and they really have a lot to think about when it comes to who's going to run this country.
Well, this is Breitbart News Daily. Lara Trump is my guest, wife of Eric Trump. She's on the Women for Trump tour. Last question for you, Lara. And I've been asking this for all the Trump surrogates who've come onto the program. Is it really in the last week until the election? I think the biggest group that you need to be targeting are these never Trump conservatives, these conservatives who are thinking of withholding votes from Donald Trump because he's simply not a good enough candidate for them. Well, what do you say to that crowd?
Well, listen, I think that Donald Trump's message has remained the same from the beginning, and I would encourage them to really think about that. Think about what sort of a country they want to have. This country should be working for the people that live here, and it's not right now. You see Obamacare premiums going through the roof. You see that we have 95 million Americans out of the workforce. We have an open border, essentially, at our southern border. We don't know who's coming into this country, what they're bringing into this country. Donald Trump wants to fix these problems, and I understand that he's not a politician and he doesn't talk like a politician, but quite frankly, I think it's refreshing, and I think that that's what so many Americans like about Donald Trump, and that's why they connected with him in the first place. And you know what? No one is perfect. He has said himself, maybe I could have said things differently. Maybe I could have done a couple of things differently. But I will tell you that Donald Trump is doing this because this country has been so good to him. This country has allowed him to have an incredible business, a wonderful family, truly be the American dream. And Donald Trump thinks we all deserve that. So while I understand that he is not the polished politician that Hillary Clinton has tried to make herself, this is a man who loves his country, who loves the people of this country, and wants to see us all succeed. And I would just encourage people as they go to the voting booth to keep that in mind and understand that this is also a man who does what he says he's going to do. And when he says he wants to fix this country, he means it, and we really need some help.